So let's click into student view. I'm going to start with the one from last fall because it's more complete, and then I'll explain how we set it up a little bit differently from the start of the semester. Okay, so here's our student view. So when students are first landing on Psych 101, this is the homepage that they see. So you can see that this homepage has just basic information about the class, when and where we are. It has our office hours up at the top. If there's important information that we want to make sure students see, we might add something to the top of this across the semester. So you'll see that this note here is information that we really needed them to know the last week of class, and we wanted to make sure they could find us easily, so we added it in. If we scroll down a little further, we see this little nifty course logo that I just made in PowerPoint. I like having a logo. I think it's nice for a course to have a look. We just found this image online and then, mocked up our own little course logo. But the most important part of the homepage is really what you see down here below. So we wanted to organize, kind of a one-stop shop where students could see all the important information that they need for the class and the different components of the class. So for example, we see a quick link here to the course syllabus. If students click this link, it takes them to a web-based version of the syllabus that we made in Google Sites. Okay, so here's our syllabus, for example, that students can link to from Canvas. This is another place that we try to lay out information for students, but it's really more of, like a standard syllabus, but we just try to put it in web form so it's going to be easier to find information. All right, so in addition to the link to the course syllabus, we also have a link to the research and writing project, which is our semester-long course project. And this takes students to another set of pages that we created in Canvas that lays out everything they need to know about the project, including an overview, specific assignment instructions, and additional resources. Let me go back to my homepage here. We also have a link to the digital textbook and the digital quizzing platform that we use. So students are doing weekly quizzes on their textbook readings, and they can easily access that here. We also have a quick link to just the course calendar for students who want to see the bird's eye view. So we tried to put up at the top of here links to really essential course information that students we know tend to want to access very frequently. And then below that initial part of the landing page, we tried to organize the class into different units based on the kind of timing of exams in the class and sort of when we are assessing different kinds of material. So unit 1 here is the 5 first weeks of the semester. There's unit 2, that's 4 weeks there in the middle. And then unit 3 is 5 weeks here at the end. There's also a little end of semester chunk for the things that we do leading up to the final exam. And we wanted students to be able to go here and very quickly find what week they're in right now, click on that week, and then be routed to really organize information about what we're focusing on that week. So this page here, which is actually for the first week of class, gives them some getting started paths that we want them to focus on, like reading the syllabus, making sure they can access the textbook and the quizzes, giving them important information about policies in the class. Like our class is a tech-free course, so students have to have permission to use laptops and tablets in class. We have a tab where they can see information about the lectures for that week with a link to a lecture outline they can download, either to use to make their own study guide later, or if they want to print it out and bring it with them for class, they can. We have links to slides for the lectures, which are always available, as you can see here, after class. We have another tab that has their first assignments for the class, so any reading assignments, any due dates, anything related to their course project. And then we always add a tab each week with bonus resources, and bonus resources are really just for students who are really potentially more advanced. They've taken psychology classes before, and so they might want to learn a little more deeply, or they're just really curious about a particular topic and they want to learn more. And so here we add links to podcasts, to videos, to articles that we think students might find interesting. Okay, and so if I go back to our homepage, you can see that we have a separate button for each of the weeks of the semester. Now, one thing that we also do that makes it a little easier for students to navigate this, and here I'll show you the page that we're creating for this upcoming fall, is that we actually don't release each week of the semester at the very beginning. We actually release the pages for each week just the week before, so that students don't get too overwhelmed and start getting ahead on the material. And the way that we do that is by just controlling whether different pages are visible to students. Canvas easily allows you to publish a page or to unpublish a page so that it can't be seen. We also learned how to change the color of these little buttons so that students would learn that any buttons that were yellow were clickable and have content that they can see. But any buttons that are gray are not clickable and they can't see anything on those. So you can see that when I click on that gray button, it says my access is denied. But when I click on a yellow button, it'll allow me to go to that page. And so this does require a little bit of work because it means each week we do need to remember to go in and change the color of the button and publish the page for the next week so they can see it. But that's not that difficult. It just takes, 5 minutes to do, and helps us also to make sure that we are double checking that we have all the correct information for the upcoming page. So here I am on my homepage for the upcoming fall semester. And in general, whenever we want to edit a page in Canvas, we go to this edit button up here at the top and we click on it. And usually what we see, looks not that different from a Word document. So you can add text and you can change the formatting of the text. But you'll notice if you look down underneath this box at these little buttons underneath it, there is this little button right here that if you hover over it, it will tell you click or shift click for the HTML editor. And so if I click on that button, it's going to show me the code that is behind everything that I see on this page. And this is part of how I learned some of the HTML code was just by clicking on this button and then trying to see what I could see about my page. And so you'll see, for example, that there are different codes that correspond to different kinds of formats. So like H2 is a header, level 2 header. P is a paragraph. And so there's code in here that specifies the format of the text that's on the screen. And then we were able to copy over some HTML code from another professor's website who used that same little button structure and the little segmented section structure that we have on our homepage, and paste that code into our own page, then edit it in order to make it look the way that we wanted to. So for example, if I scroll down a little bit here, let's see if I can find it. There is some code that is creating content boxes on my screen. And that's creating little grids. And so the grids are like the little grids of buttons that we've organized. There is code that's specifying the color of the box. So we slowly could kind of learn like which codes correspond to which colors, and you can kind of easily paste in different colors that you might want to use. I mean, this all looks like a lot to wade through, but it didn't take that long to figure out like what parts of the code I needed to change or needed to copy if I wanted to make something new. In fact, down here, so here's a place where you can actually see the word button. So this is code that's actually creating a little mini button. And it's telling it how big the button should be, it's telling it the color of the button, and it's also telling it what text to put for that button. So here it says course calendar is the title of this button. It's giving it what it should link to. So when they click on the button, where should it go? And then it's giving it like a target of what that button's going to correspond to. So I am not by any means an expert in coding at all. And so I certainly in learning how to play with this, made some mistakes, but it was really easy if I made a mistake to switch out of the HTML editor by clicking that button again, and then seeing what there was to see. Like I would very quickly see if I had messed something up and then go back in and change it back. So if I switch out of the HTML editor, you see kind of more of the standard page. One thing that's cool too is once you've changed the HTML text, you then can go into this standard editor and edit things without having to mess with the HTML code. So for example, I can click on these buttons, and I can click link options, and I can change where the button should route to without messing with the HTML code. I can just, give it a different link that I want it to go to in Canvas, for example. So you only have to know a little bit of code, and then you can kind of go in and do the standard editor. And then when you're done, you can just click save or cancel if I don't want to accidentally change anything. And you can see what students would see.